Hello and welcome back. In this section we're going to be looking at forms, and I might split this video into two parts in case the first one is getting too long, because I want to take my time to explain what forms are and how we can use them, and some of the most important things we need to know when we are working with forms. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, I would also love you to do so and click on the bell icon so that you can get notification whenever I upload a new video. So let's go further. I have opened some websites here. The first one is Facebook, and then if you're visiting Facebook for the first time, you're going to see a couple of things which I'm going to talk about. The most important things on this page, as we can see, we have this place and we also have this place, and these are forms. This is where you give in your username and your password in order for you to be able to log in. And if you forget your password and you click on forgotten password, you will also have another form here. So you can see this is where you can see that we use forms a lot. And then this is another one. We have, you're trying to create an account or something on Google. This is a form. You have to fill in your first name, your last name, username, and all that. This is another form. And then if you just go on Google and you type form, you see there are a lot of forms, and you have this one which is contact us here. I just had to take one out, a simple one. So you can see we use forms a lot to do a lot of things. Even in your if you log on to Facebook and you're making comments and posting, those are actually forms which you're filling, and then it's coming back to you. So let us go further to talk about forms. The first thing we're going to look at when we talk about forms is what we call the form tag. And the form tag has two major actions, or two major attributes rather. You have the action and the method. So I'll go to my code editor, VS Code in this case, and I'll create a form tag. Here you just have to type form and you press enter, and then this automatically comes with action. But I'll also include this one, of which nothing is going to happen now with it, but I just want to show you that these are the two major attributes of a form. Action is what happens to where you should go to when this form has been submitted or something has been done to the form. And then the method is we have post and get method, which we're going to talk about when we talk about server side. So for now we're not going to be using any of these two, so I'll take them out, and then we just have our form tag here, opening and closing form tag. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is the input tag. So the input tag has a lot of attributes, and the input tag is used to create interactive controls. One of the attributes we are going to be using is the type attributes, of which it determines the type of input you want to give in. So in this case the input is a text, and in this case the input is a date. In this case the input is color, file, and checkbox. I'll just copy this and I'll paste in our code so we can see how it looks like. So if I paste this here and I save, let's take a look at what happens here. What I'm going to do now is I'll break this. So I'll put BR tag here 2 times so we can see this very well. I'll copy and paste in these places as well. So if I save now, you can see what we have here. This first one is a text, so we can write text here, and then this one is date. We can just click here and we have our date. I believe you understand what we have, what we can do with this. And then this is for color. If I click on this, we have colors. I can select under color, for instance green, and then you see it changes to green. And then this is when you want to select the file, and this is a checkbox. It toggles on and off as you click on it. So that is how we can these are just 5, but there are a lot of them, and we're going to be using them to see how they work. I'll clear this for now. So let's say I want to create a login form. I'll give a heading of H1. Let's call this sign in, and then inside this form I'll create one input I'll call this text, this will be email, because we want to sign in with just email and password. There is another input type called password, and then let's say below this I can put button sign in. So if I save this, you can see we have something like this. So I can begin to sign in. I'll put me@gmail.com and I can put my password 12345 and I can click on sign in. Now let me show you something, or let me skip that for later. Alright, so there's another input type which is known as submit. So instead of using this button tag here, I can use an input type called submit. Okay, let's say we want to put sign in here. Here we're going to pass in a value of sign in. So if we can see now, it changes to sign in. Most of the times, instead of using buttons in forms, you are going to want to use this, although it doesn't have any big implication, but as this is available, it is ideal for us to use it. Now this is a simple form. Let us see some of the attributes or some things we can add to this. Now we can add what is known as a placeholder. So a placeholder, I can say enter email here, and then for this placeholder I'll say enter password here. So if I save this, so this is what a placeholder is. If I click on this, I can type and that goes away. If I click on this, so I believe you get what the placeholder does. And you've seen this in a lot of forms. Let's move forward. So we have a simple form which I've shown you. We are not talking about the action and the method for now, so let's go for that. There's something called label as well. So let's talk about what labels are. When we talk about labels, we use labels to name our input. It's like, I'll copy this and I'll explain. I'll just copy this inner part because I'll put it inside the form tag. So I'll copy this, I'll comment this out, and let's paste this here, and we see what happens if I save. Alright, I'll put the BR tag here, which breaks it up. Okay, so now what we have here is we have a label for email, and then inside this label we've passed in our username as the label, and then this is the input type which is inside the label, and then this other one for password. But in most cases you won't see lots of people using this one. They will be using them separately, like we can see here. So let me just put this here so you can see. I'll comment this out as well, but then I'll show you the common practice or the best practice lots of people use. And I'll start with label, and then we give the name. What do we want this to be for username? And then we are going to write username here. So then when we come to the input now, there is another additional thing we will need to add. If we're using this for, which is for the label, we need to pass in an ID, because both of them has to correspond. Whatever you're passing in this for has to be the same in the ID. So in this case we're going to use username as well, and we can pass in a name here. This name is what it will be used to store it in the database. So in this case, the name of whatever we want to pass in here, we want it to be username. So that is what it will store this as in the database. So if we save this now, you can see it's the same thing. I can break this up here. Let's put that too, so we get enough space, and then I'll create another one here, label. I'll call this for password, and I'll put password here again. Whatever we put in here, that's what is showing here. You should take note of that. So password, if I save now, we're just going to have this, and then we need to pass an input, and then the text should be password, and we have to put an ID as what? Password. And then if you want to pass a name, it has to be password. So we have this, and then the next one, let's put a submit button of submit and a value of login. So we have this here. So that is how labels work. This video is getting quite long. We're going to stop here and we continue in the next video.